And welcome back. I wish a good day to all. Well, let me pick up the camera here so you can see this real quick. But you can see that we're in our project truck, Sleeper Apple, otherwise known as Candy Apple, our 2012 red Ram here, and we are outside of the garage. And what we're getting ready to do is run a little bit of data logging and get that information over to our tuner, so you can kind of see how things are operating, because right now what we have is just what you would consider a baseline tune. And now you need some, I guess you would kind of call it driving logs or driving data on it, so we can kind of see how things are going and make adjustments from there. So the first thing he's asked us to do is do about 4 to 5 minutes of just kind of light driving. So I figured what we would do is just kind of drive around the neighborhood, do about 2 laps around the neighborhood, circle all the cul-de-sacs, and that should give us the 4 to 5 minutes worth of data that he's looking for. So I'm going to try to get you situated with this tripod in such a way, and hopefully you don't fall over in the process of this, but I'm going to get you situated, get you zoomed in. We'll get the gauge package up that has a custom gauge layout based on the PIDs that the tuner supplied. This is, again, I get my tunes from Jay Green. He's got a list of PIDs that he wanted data logged onto. We'll hopefully get that data logged today. We'll get that sent off to him, and we'll see what the next revision tune has in store for us. So with that being said, let me pause you, get you better situated, get you zoomed in. I'll bring you back. One moment. And welcome back. So I'm going to put the key in the ignition and just turn it on. We won't start yet, but just to turn it on so the Trinity here can read the PID numbers from everything and pull our gauge package up. But as I stated before, we went in and sorry, the beeping will end here in a moment. We went in and created a custom gauge layout and selected all the PIDs that Jay was looking for. And we'll get that loaded up here. Now, once that loads up, we should be able to start the vehicle. And I got a little bit of a vibration, and I think it's coming from something's, you get that weird vibration that you can't find, like something's vibrating. You'll probably hear it on the camera. I think it's coming from the hood. I need to do a little bit of adjustment on there because it's a little bit loose. So I haven't skipped or told it to delete this tutorial because it's actually pretty useful to have a recap of, how to use this thing. So let's go here. What I want to do is just make sure I'm on the right layout here. Yes, keep the tutorial, and we want scene 3 is where we have this set up. And let's see, I'm going to actually exit out of that. So what I'm looking for is the custom one. Sorry, still getting used to this. Yes, I know. Keep tutorial. There we go. So I was scrolled over a little bit too far. So what I ended up doing was taking their Diablo's layout that they had pre-programmed for this, and I believe this is 16 PIDs you're seeing here, went through them and changed them to reflect what Jay was looking for as far as the information that he wants to see. So again, we got the key on so it can kind of read the PIDs, and you see some of the information coming in now, like ambient air temperature, ratios, what it's seeing for barometric pressure, things of that nature. So let's go ahead and start it up and see if we start seeing some data in there, and then we'll start a capture. Okay. I'm gonna go check one thing under the hood here, make sure everything looks okay, and I'll be right back with you. One moment. Yeah, a little bit of a rattle. Maybe we got a little bit of an exhaust rattle, but we're getting our numbers, which look good. Short and long-term fuel trims. So let's start some data logging. So we're now recording. We've got our red light on. We get a seat belt on here. We'll see what we got. Yeah, got a little bit of rattle I'm gonna have to sort out. Oops, sorry. So let me do this. Yeah, you're gonna see if I can hold on to you so you don't go falling. Okay, and all I'm gonna do is just kind of drive in and out of the cul-de-sacs around the neighborhood a few times. Just kind of keep an eyeball on everything. Getting about 70-ish pounds of oil pressure, about 76 pounds of oil pressure. I do apologize because I'm kind of having to hold you in place, so camera work's probably not the greatest to see that gauge package. Let me get my mirrors adjusted here. So far everything's pretty smooth. I can hear the bypass valve on the supercharger working. Definitely going to need an alignment. If you remember, we replaced the rack and pinion, so the steering wheel is a little bit off, but you know, that's to be expected. Just doing a little bit of a turnaround here in the parking lot. Shifting a little bit. Seems a little bit jerky on the shifting. But again, we're running a high stall converter. And this is the first time it's had any activity in months. So it's going to take time for the computer to learn the adaptives. Yeah, definitely gonna have to track down that vibration there that's coming from the hood on the passenger side. That's gonna drive me nuts. But anytime we throttle up, we're getting about 60 to 70 something pounds of oil pressure. We're almost up to operating temp. We're about up to, let's see if I can find the gauge here. About up to 188 degrees, so our thermostat should have opened. Yeah, our Trinity moved on you, so I'm not sure how much of that you're still seeing. I've got you zoomed in as far as I can. But so far, you know, just casually driving through the neighborhood like this with a high stall converter, it's not really much any different than driving with a standard stall converter. Seems to be moving about the same amount of RPMs that the standard factory stall converter would move in. Got about 50 degree outside temp right now. 183 degree coolant temp. Oil temperature is 163 degrees. Oil pressure is 61 psi. We've got about 11 minutes of recording time, so we should have the 4 to 5 minutes of data log that the tuner was looking for at this point. So I'm just going to loop around here and bring it back to the house. Again, we've got the banks disconnected because we've got the Trinity plugged in. So we'll get around to playing around with the banks pedal monster and kind of seeing how that all feels and get that adjusted, you know, once we've got the okay from our tuner that everything looks good. So let's do this. Yeah, you can hear that rattle that we've got, which is maddening right now. Well, not maddening, just annoying. Okay, so we're going to stop our recording. You want to save this little recording? Yes. And this is going to be known as, let's just do J45. And then once we get this inside the house, we'll bring it in and I'll show you how we're going to download the log out of this and how we can get it sent off to Jay here. Okay, so just kind of looking at our, see, long-term fuel trims are going to take a while to come down from when we were having issues earlier. So you can see the short terms between -1, 2, and 0. So the short-term fuel trims look good. It'll just take a while for the long terms to come down on their own. So let's do this. Let me pause you. We'll get things shut down here, and then we'll get our log sent off to Jay. Next thing we'll do is get it downloaded, and I'll bring it back. One moment. And welcome back. So I'm just on Holly's page here, looking for the Diablo on the Diablo technical support page, and underneath software downloads, we got a data viewer and a data viewer 2. So data viewer says the software for Windows allows you to open OBD2 data logs that you recorded with the Diablo Sport Tuner, and data viewer 2. So since data viewer 2 says it was an updated version of data viewer, I went ahead and just downloaded Data Viewer 2 and did the install. Now, upon first launching the Data Viewer, it did also do an update. Now, when we plug our Trinity in, to show you here, remember it maps a drive letter. And what it looks like we can simply do, since we saved the log file on the Trinity, is just come on the logs, and you can see we have our J45 log that we copied in there. And I just copied it to a local source in our downloads folder. Sorry, not our downloads folder, but let's do this. That's, yeah, right there, downloads. Instead of just putting it in the generic downloads folder, what we can do is cut that, and then we want to go into, let's go to C drive, upgrades, tunes, and then we'll make a new folder here called logs, and then paste it in. And what it looks like we can then do, now that we have our log file copied manually off our Trinity, it looks like we can now come in to just open the software, which is Data Viewer 2, open log file, navigate to our folder, upgrades, tunes, logs, J45 log, open, and you can see it's opening the log file, and there we go. Nice. You can see it's still loading in, but you can see all our PIDs on the left hand side here of everything that it recorded that we had selected in that custom gauge package. And every event along the way for, looks like we got 8 minutes and 40 seconds worth of data. So that will definitely give us the little chunk that we were looking for. Let's see, export to CSV. So I'm going to export this to CSV, and I'm going to send Jay. I think Jay can work with just the straight up log file. I don't think he needs it in CSV, but I'll send it to him in either way. But this is kind of cool. You can see that we can come in here and we can select events along the way, kind of what was happening, what it was doing, and we've got all of this data that we've got selected. It looks like we can add in and remove based off our little check boxes here. Short and long-term fuel trims up at the top, which are currently selected. Could be just a default selection. Anyway, but awesome. Okay, so let's do that. Like I said, I'm just going to export to CSV. And J45 CSV. The reason why I'm calling it J45 because he asked for 4 to 5 minutes worth of data on just a light drive. And it doesn't look like I had to select anything. I saw a version of this software where you had to select all the PIDs upon doing the export. It doesn't look like I have to do it on this one. Yeah, because a 15 meg export file. So let's do this. Let's move that file to be in our upgrades, tunes, logs, and paste that in there. Yeah. So a little bit of a size difference. 679K for the native log file format versus over 15 meg CSV. So what I'll do in this case, then I'll just send him just the straight up log file in this case, and I'll just ask him if he wants the CSV. Again, my first experience with all this, so I can't really go into detail and, you know, kind of show a lot of what this is or isn't this, what it is or isn't, or whether or not these readings are good or bad. I mean, I can look at short and long-term fuel trims and things of that nature, and I can tell you whether those are good or bad. But this is, again, it's one of the necessary steps that you need to do when you're getting into a custom tune. And this is really going to be beneficial for your remote tuner to be able to get this type of information to really dial things down to get your appropriate mods to work correctly with your vehicle. So I think I rambled on long enough. It's going to be a little bit of a short one, something a little bit different today. And again, we're out of the garage. We've had our first successful trip, albeit just kind of shortly, just a couple small laps around the neighborhood. And we're going to get this off to our tuner and see what we got for an update, and I'll bring you back for the next one. Thank you much. Oh, and if you have subscribed already, I do thank you immensely. If you have not, please consider doing so. Our goal is to get to 3,000 before the end of the year. More is better. But if we can get to 3,000, it'd be an awesome goal to achieve. And like I said, I will get a camera mount, a better camera mount. So when I bring you along on the cabs, hopefully I can get you maybe zoomed in on the dash cluster, or maybe even the eye banks at some point, or just maybe just outside of the windshield in general. But that being said, I'll let you go, and I'll bring you back for the next one. Talk to you later.